Wassalatu wassalam ala nabina Muhammad Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters. I welcome you to another exciting edition of our program, Faith and Philanthropy, brought to you by AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society with the support of MacArthur Foundation. Indeed, today is another beautiful day to celebrate Nigeria at 65. We are all happy to celebrate Nigeria. The independence was on Wednesday, I think. That was 1st October. So we are celebrating it today in our program, Faith and Philanthropy. And the topic of today's program is celebrating Nigeria at 65, specifically talking about sustaining good governance through Islamic principles. And not just the only person in the studio, I have two special guests with me. By the way, my name is Mariam Mbaka from Human Rights Radio and Television 101.1 FM, the station that redefines broadcasting. The two special guests I have in the studio here, inshallah, is Dr. Rekia Momu Abaji, who is a retired Director of Productivity and also coordinator the Just Foundation, an NGO under the AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society. And she's also the retired director from the National Productivity Center. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And I have Ustaz Adeyemi Samod Adetunji, who is AL-HABIBIYYAH's Mission Board member. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Okay, Faith and Philanthropy is a project that is being brought to you by AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society to talk about the support, the need for us to support humanity, aside from the normal sadaqah we give, aside from one or two help, financial help we give. How can we sustain this support through our religion? And let me surprise all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, that this program is not just for the Muslims, both the Muslims and Christians. So we are looking at how we can put heads together to see how we can bring a sustainable support that will help improve the country at large, that will help humanity, that will bring out the downtrodden, that will bring people out from the streets. What kind of support are we going to give? I'm going to start quickly by asking our dear mommy who is in the studio to tell us some key Islamic principles that can be used as a foundation for promoting accountability and transparency in governance, especially in a diverse country like Nigeria. Okay, let me start with Mr. Adeyemi Samod Adetunji. Yes, so you can just give us a brief introduction.
Okay.
What's your feelings about the Nigeria at 65, having gained our independence? Then you tell us how can Islam support this foundation and the project that is on the ground.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. First of all, I congratulated all Nigerian citizens, both home and abroad, that happy 65 independence.
MashaAllah.
Though we all know what it is in the beginning, even though those of us that are not around, we heard the news, we heard the story, at least we even saw some documentaries. But Alhamdulillah, with the teaching of Islam, Islam commands justice, which every Muslim who attend mosque on Fridays will know that at the end of every khutbah, every sermon that the Imam delivers,
Okay.
they will say, Inna Allah ya'murukum bil adli wal ihsan. Giving this instruction by Allah is a way to standardize responsibility in our society, which these responsibilities are not just to do them, but be just in doing them. Because in the you will have seen examples during the time of Umar ibn Khattab, when there is a severe hunger in the land. Then Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab, he redesigned some Islamic rulings to make it more easier and soften for people so that they can survive.
MashaAllah.
Also, when it comes to leadership and maintaining the society, accountability is also one of the keys, which is very, very, very important.
Absolutely.
Even Allah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
Sallam.
he said, "Kullukum ra'i wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyati." Everyone is a shepherd, and there are some certain sheep given to you to manage, and on all these things you will give account on them. Not only at the highest top, even the little ones, the head of the family, like that, and every other sect or any other category. And also trust, which is also very important, al-amana, because Allah commanded trust. Quran says, "Inna Allah ya'murkum an tuwaddul amanata ila aliha." You should give everybody their own entitlement. Allah commands that. As we are celebrating Nigeria at 65, I'm sure that the leadership of Nigeria now, the current leaders in Nigeria, must have been seeing one or two things, where to make amendments, because we have entrusted all our affairs to them in governing this nation.
Okay.
And we so much expect more, and we still expect more from them. And also consultation.
MashaAllah.
Because Quran says, "Fas'alu a'la zikri in kuntum la ta'lamun." In a place where you don't have knowledge or you don't understand what is happening, you're advised to ask those who knows about it.
Okay.
And that's why Quran says, "Wa'murhum bishura bainahum." Quran says we ask you to go for consultation among yourself.
Okay.
If there's any issue on the table, I consult Auntie Miriam, I consult doctor, we all sit to it, say, okay, how do we go about it? And we get it solved. And both parties or all the parties will be okay with it.
Okay.
So these are the 4 key important sustainable governance that Islam has brought: justice, accountability, trust, and consultation.
Thank you very much, Ya Sheikh. Well, this topic is very broad because we're talking about both national aspirations and spiritual foundations, right?
Yes.
Sustaining good governance through Islamic principles, especially in a time when citizens are calling for more accountability,
Yes.
equity, and justice. So it is very important and paramount to revisit timeless principles that can guide us.
Yes.
And Islam has much to offer in this regard. So please, Ya Sheikh, can you tell us how Islam views leadership and public trust when it comes to faith and philanthropy? And also, what lessons can Nigerian leaders draw from the prophetic examples? Give us more prophetic examples that Nigerian leaders can draw so that they would be able to use that in guiding the people.
Alhamdulillah. First of all, the saying of the Prophet, there's a saying of the Prophet that says,
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sayyidul Qawmin Khadimuhum. Anybody who leads a group or the leader of any society is more or less their servant. The purpose of being there is to serve them, not to enrich himself. Which this is one of the biggest things I think we are really battling in Nigeria. Though I can't really give the statistics of what is happening currently, but I'm sure that this is what we are battling in Nigeria.
Okay.
So most of us, we have given the public trust to those in these positions. and we expect them to give back to the society.
Okay.
But I don't know if we are to say it's our own expectation that is too high, or it is their own shortcut that is shortcoming of not getting up to what we want. But Allah knows the best. But Islamically, we have given what we are supposed to do to them. They should also know they have the responsibility to us and also to account to Allah.
Yes, inshallah. Thank you very much. So I'm going back, talking about public trust. This brings me to Dr. Rekia Momo, who is our retired Director of Productivity. Mommy, you are going to use yourself as an example. I know during your time as a director, and presently one of the coordinators, right, of the AL-HABIBIYYAH program and the Be Just Foundation. I want you to tell us how you have played your role as a leader in faith and philanthropy, and how has this Islamic values that you have inculcated in the lives of people contributed to justice, equity, and citizens' empowerment in government, and how others that are now presently in government, what they are supposed to do to contribute to justice, equity, and citizens' empowerment in government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's kind of a long question, but I'll take it in bits. First of all, let me start from the beginning when MacArthur started to collaborate with AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society. That came on, from the failings of our regular anti-corruption agencies. We had low ratings with Transparency International. We have low ratings index with Public Integrity and what have you. And so they came in to assist the AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society in launching a program that tends to address behavioral change that will entrench social accountability and transparency in the lives of people. And how did we do this? We did this program by undertaking sensitization across board, across states, across faith organizations, across even government and private sector organizations. And what were the goals we set out to achieve? We set out to bring the different nuances of corruption, to sensitize people on the different nuances of corruption so that they can know corruption when they see it, so that they can also come about with strategies to counter corruption in society. And so we went around thinking that, okay, our malams, our learned persons, leaders in mosques and societies are the best points to take it from. And we started to deal with our imams and our scholars, dealing with them in sensitization workshops. We ended up, we even created what we call a sermon guide. AL-HABIBIYYAH printed over 10,000 copies and distributed them free around the country. We also had what we called capacity enhancing for men and women. We had digital skills acquisition for the youth. This was because we wanted the youth to know that the tools of communication which they have in their hands don't have to be fraudulently used. They can use it for some things that are positive in society. Some of them even ended up running organizations of their own, opening up business centers of their own. Dealing with government organizations. We had National Directorate of Employment, we had SMEDAN, we had the Farmers Association of Nigeria. This is to say that we were trying to reach every segment of society to disseminate information about what corruption is and what is not, and how you should try to push it away from your operational systems. I would like to say that we achieved that goal that we set out to achieve. People were sensitized, and people started to even tell us stories about what they abhor about corruption. You know, we had some traders who told us that, you know, they had to improve their measurement scales because in the past they were not really bothered about how they measured, provided they made profit. But as they dealt with us and as we dealt with them, they started to know that, you know, there's accountability. There's, you know, there should be transparency in what we do. Now, so coming to me and coming to what should happen at the civil service at the moment, you know, we just, you know, we have anti-corruption agencies like the EFCC, the ICPC, you know. Their measures are kind of maybe punitive measures, what have you, but having interacted with the people, we want to expect that people's attitudes have changed. People begin to look at corruption as something they should not embark on. And corruption is not that you dipped your hands into money and took it directly. Corruption, the negative effect comes from the fact that, oh, hospitals are empty of drugs. So people get there and die. So indirectly, you are responsible for the death of people. Roads are in terrible shapes, potholes, what have you, prone to accidents. You have taken
adequate infrastructure.
Yes, you have taken the money that should do these things. Schools have no conducive environment for children to learn because some budget that has been made by the country or by the state or by the school is in the pockets of a few and is not doing what those monies were budgeted for. So indirectly, you are responsible for the negative effects of corruption in the society.
Okay, ma'am. So what role can civil society, particularly faith-based organization, play in holding government accountable while promoting Islamic ethical standards?
We are talking of the standards of integrity, okay, standards of equity, and standards of fairness, where everyone's welfare, everyone's interest is taken into consideration. Faith, like you know, the Just Foundation is an NGO of AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society. In the process of our work, we also dealt across the country with other faith-based organizations across the place, including, like my brother told you before, Christian organizations. What is our aim? Our idea is to teach to the people, is to sensitize the people, is to let them know that we have a role to play. By the sensitization, and you know, every time we had sensitization programs, we have the media there, the media represented, television, radio, newspapers. So the things we sensitize people on, the themes are carried to the general public, which means that we are reaching governments, we are reaching people as much as possible in carrying out our programs.
All right. Alhamdulillah, you're still listening to Faith and Philanthropy, a program brought to you by AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society with the support of MacArthur Foundation. Quickly, I will just give Mr. Adeyemi Samud 1 minute to talk to us about the way forward, given the challenges of corruption and inequality. How can Islamic teachings be practically integrated into our social-political systems without compromising the Nigerian's secular constitution? In 1 minute, sir.
Alhamdulillah. Let me just put it this way. I would rather advise that everybody holding position should follow this Quran verse that says, وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. Be good the way Allah has been good to you. In the midst of millions, Allah chooses you to lead them. For Allah to have been good to you, choosing you to lead, you to try to be good to people so that you can have a very good headache.
MashaAllah, this is a very good one, simple but has weight.
Yeah. Let me just add a little to that before you know, and adding to the good of society can also be seen in the programs of AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society. You know, we have the food bank, during which we give food to Christians, Muslims, thousands of people during the month of Ramadan. We also have our Zakat Foundation. We distribute Zakat. We also have the Wakaf, which is being propagated. Wakaf meaning that you have something you have dedicated to give good in the cause of Allah for for all times, for posterity. Whether you are alive or you are dead, you have dedicated that thing to yield fruits that will come in the service of humanity.
And this is the sustainable,
sustainable way of keeping goodness to the people going.
MashaAllah.
You know, these are part of the things we do at the AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society to ensure that equity is in society, that justice is in society, that welfare of people is taken care of.
Alhamdulillah. So Hajia, are you saying that all these projects that the AL-HABIBIYYAH Islamic Society has established that is ongoing now, for instance, the Wakaf, the feeding the indigent people and the rest, the Zakat, is both feasible for Christians and Muslims? Even Christians can come in to contribute?
Oh yes, oh yes. We even have what we call the Do Something project. It's a situation where we gather small intakes from people and we give out to people. Both Muslims and Christians come in for it. Then during the small Salah and the big Salah, we always have a program where we give out clothings, all household things from members of the Islamic Society. And Christians and Muslims come and make benefit from it. Yeah. All we are looking at is humanity, is bringing good to humanity, is making sure that people are better than what they are continuously. You continue to improve who you are for the service of, for the good of humanity.
Alhamdulillah. So we have few more minutes to go. So I'm going to use that to open the telephone lines, even if it's 2 or 3 persons that will call into this program and contribute. We would appreciate that. The number to call is 080-3322-1149. The number again is 080-3322